the tragic events of September 11, 2001, the deadliest terrorist attack in American history.
On the morning of September 11, 2001, the city of New York awoke like any other day. Commuters hurried through subway stations, yellow taxis crowded the streets, and office workers filled the towers of Lower Manhattan. The World Trade Center, two shining towers that had become symbols of progress and ambition, stood tall against a cloudless blue sky. It was a picture of calm, of routine, of ordinary life. No one could have imagined that within hours, this ordinary Tuesday would become one of the darkest days in modern history. At 8:46 a.m., that calm was shattered. American Airlines Flight 11, a passenger jet carrying 92 people, crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. The impact ripped through the upper floors, filling the sky with black smoke. In the streets below, people stopped in their tracks, staring upward in disbelief. Some thought it was an accident, perhaps a small plane that had lost its way. The truth was far more terrifying. 17 minutes later, as cameras turned toward the burning tower, United Airlines Flight 175 struck the South Tower. The explosion lit up the morning sky. It became clear to everyone watching. This was not an accident. This was an attack. Inside the towers, thousands of people were trapped. Stairwells became their only escape. Some dialed home to say goodbye. Others prayed. In those moments, strangers became friends and co-workers became family. One man later recalled, I was in a stairwell when someone stumbled and couldn't go on. A group of us carried him down, floor by floor. We didn't know his name, but leaving him behind wasn't an option. Outside, the sirens of fire trucks and ambulances filled the streets. First responders rushed toward the towers, not knowing if they would come back. Firefighters climbed upward, carrying heavy gear, while office workers streamed downward past them. One firefighter radioed to his unit, "We're going up. We may not come out, but we're going up." As New York struggled to comprehend what was unfolding, more horrifying news arrived. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon, the heart of America's military command. Flames and smoke billowed from the building, striking fear in the nation's capital. And then, at 10:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 93 crashed into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The plane never reached its intended target because passengers and crew members fought back. They stormed the cockpit, forcing the plane down. Their sacrifice saved countless lives in Washington, D.C. One passenger, Todd Beamer, was heard saying the words, "Let's roll," as they made their final charge. For nearly 2 hours, America was under siege. The world watched in shock as live images showed New York City burning. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower collapsed. A roar filled the air as dust and debris rolled through the streets, chasing people as they ran for their lives. At 10:28 a.m., the North Tower fell. In less than 2 hours, the tallest buildings in New York were gone. What remained was dust, silence, and a grief too heavy to describe. Nearly 3,000 lives were lost that day. They were mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, friends and neighbors. They were firefighters, police officers, office workers, and travelers. Behind each number was a face. stretched around city blocks as people offered what they could. In New York, strangers shared food, blankets, and comfort. Firefighters from across the country traveled to the city to help. Around the world, candlelight vigils burned late into the night. For a moment in history, humanity was united by grief, but also by compassion. In the years that followed, the world changed. Airports introduced new levels of security. Wars began in distant lands. Politics shifted, and entire nations were reshaped. But through it all, the memory of that September morning endured. For the families of the victims, the pain never fully left. For survivors, the memories remain vivid and unshakable. Today, the site of the World Trade Center is a place of remembrance and reflection. Two memorial pools stand where the towers once rose, each name carefully engraved in bronze. Visitors run their fingers across the letters, pausing to remember the lives behind them. Beside the memorial, One World Trade Center rises into the sky, a symbol not of what was lost, but of what was rebuilt. Each year, on the anniversary of the attacks, the city falls silent. The names of every